Here is everything that happened in Afcon 2025. So I'm actually going to do this in reverse order, and I'm going to start with the final because this is one of the craziest finals ever. Now I need to give you some context before I go through what actually happened. This final was being held in the capital city of Morocco, and Morocco, obviously being one of the teams in the final, they had home advantage. And that's fine and all until you start to see some of the refereeing decisions. Now the first notable decision that kind of got the Senegal players and fans riled up was this decision by the referee to disallow this goal by Senegal because of that push on the Moroccan defender. But the referee does not help himself, okay? Because only a few minutes later, he decides to give this penalty up the other end for a supposed foul on Brahim Diaz. Again, it's the same thing as the last decision. He barely touches him and he falls to the ground like he's been shot. And this is where complete chaos ensues. So, as you can see, the Senegalese manager just starts telling everybody, get off the pitch, we're not playing because this is clearly corrupt. And the players follow suit. So they literally decided to disband the match at this point. An Afcon final. Think about all the money and all the time and effort that's been put into organising this tournament. And he's just like, nah, these boys are cheating. We're not playing anymore. Sadio Mane, as the captain, decided to be like, let's grow up. Let's just, we can't really do this. We'll just beat them on the pitch. So after all this happens, the game is restarted and Brahim Diaz steps up to take a penalty. And he does that. That is so unbelievably bad. There is times to do a Panenka. That is not one of them, okay? That is the worst time to try to do a Panenka. That is really, really bad. And you have to give credit to Mendy there for reading his intentions and just catching it down the middle. But it even gets more insane when you look what he was put through during this game. Not only were the Moroccan fans shining lasers in his eyes the entire match, but he also had to deal with Moroccan staff and ball boys stealing his towel, multiple towels, which is just absolutely ridiculous. It got so bad, in fact, that Senegal's backup keeper Yehvan Diouf decided to assume like a bodyguard position and actually started guarding his towel from the Moroccan ball boys, and they chased him down the touchline. That is not a joke. While the game was going on, this wasn't a half time, this wasn't during extra time, this was when the ball was actually in play. I mean, are Morocco not disgraced, like? And it gets even crazier after this, because 5 minutes later, Senegal go down the other end and score an absolute screamer. I have no affiliation to either of these teams, but I am so happy Morocco lost after what they did during this match. But Morocco's pettiness didn't end there, because the brothers King, who I believe was supposed to be the person who was supposed to present the trophy to Senegal, just decided he wasn't going to do it because they lost. I mean, grow up, man. Do you know what I mean? You were bet fair and square, so just like, stop being a child. You're also like a king's son. What are you doing? Just grow up, like. Now that final obviously steals the limelight because it was just absolutely crazy, and you don't see stuff like that go down often, like a whole team actually walking off the pitch during the final. Like, when does that happen? But this entire Afcon was filled with entertaining moments from start to finish. Now quickly, before I start discussing some of these moments, I just want to touch on like the memification of Afcon. And although some of these moments are legitimately funny and very entertaining, I feel like there's this weird kind of like movement that's started to develop online where like African football is just one big joke in like a weird way. Like, for example, we have this video of a linesman running backwards on the pitch, and although it is funny, like, this does happen in other competitions, but the kind of rhetoric I seen running with online is like the entire game was a sham because a referee just happened to be like on the touchline. Like, I don't know, there's just little bits like that are just a bit weird. Like, this kind of like idea that the whole tournament is a big meme does take away from actual high quality football moments. Like, this bicycle kick that was scored by Morocco on the opening day of the tournament is just bananas. Like, that is an absolutely ridiculous goal, and there was tons of good goals scored throughout this entire tournament. Like, the football, although not every match was an elite level, there is still a lot of really good football played in this tournament. But nonetheless, that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about some of the more memeable and funny parts of Afcon, because there was a lot of really entertaining things that kind of happened outside of the actual football being played. So the first notable thing that I kind of picked up from the entire tournament was this Congolese fan who stood still for every single minute of every single game that the Congo had played in the tournament. And as you're going to see later on, some of those games went to extra time. So this man would be stood still like a statue, exactly like that, for an entire 120 minutes sometimes, plus the time at halftime, plus the added time, so like well over 2 hours. Like he could be standing for almost like 3 hours, exactly like that. Now the reason he was doing this is because he was mimicking Patrice Lumumba as like a silent tribute to the nation's first prime minister. I feel like this is something you would only see at Afcon. Like I can't think of any other moment like this in any other tournament, to be honest with you. Like the dedication to do that is pretty crazy. Now, one of the funnier moments from the group stage was this failed celebration by Patson Daka. Now, he had just scored for Zambia versus Mali to secure a point, and I think this was putting them in a position to get out of the group stages. The poor fella nearly breaks his neck, man. I probably shouldn't laugh. He wasn't injured, so I am gonna laugh. Yeah, just funny like. There's also this moment from the Congo versus Benin game where the referee just tells VR everything's okay. And again, like, this is like a normal gesture, but like people try to run away and like make this like a big meme and like basically saying like the refs in Afcon were shite, and it's just like, I don't know if it's that big of a deal. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't like, it's not even really that funny. Is it even really a moment? Now, something that I thought there should have been made more of is this Congolese player. I don't know why everything is happening to the Congo, but this fella was stretchered off a pitch when he just clearly didn't want to be stretchered off. Like, he's actually complaining the entire time, just like, what is even going on? I am perfectly fine. So he just gets off the stretcher and walks like. Remember that guy I was talking about earlier, the Congolese fan who stood still the entire game? Well, unfortunately, in the round of 16, Congo lost to Algeria 1-0 by conceding a goal in the 119th minute. And at the end of the game, this player, I believe his name is Mohamed Amora, decided to kind of mock him and make fun of him by like telling him to fall down. And it's just weird. Like, I don't know, maybe there's some politics that I don't know about, but like, just a bit cringe to do that, to be honest. Like, that guy is literally just supporting his country, and I don't know, you're just being a dick for no reason. So the round of 16 also seen Uganda eliminated by Nigeria, but the way this happened was so unique, and I'm honestly, this is one of them moments where I'm not sure I've seen something like this before. So Uganda had to use all 3 of their available goalkeepers in this game. So unfortunately for Uganda, in the first half, their main goalkeeper was substituted off because he was unfortunately injured. So then they obviously bring on the backup goalkeeper because that's just what you do. So everything's normal so far, okay? Just an unlucky injury and you just swap the player out for another. That happens. Then the backup keeper comes on, and I don't know what happens. I don't know what he's thinking. I don't know if it's nerves that gets to him, but he does that. He just saves the ball a mile out of the box for no reason, and obviously gets a red card for it, because like, what are you doing? I don't actually know how long he was on the pitch. I think he was only on the pitch like 2 minutes or something like that, which is absolutely crazy. And then we see the introduction of the third goalkeeper, who probably thought he was never going to see even 60 seconds of game time, and all of a sudden he's playing a round of 16 knockout game versus Nigeria. And I feel so bad for him because he dropped an absolute stinker. Now, speaking of Nigeria, remember that Congolese fan we were talking about earlier on, the guy who was paying a tribute to his country's first ever prime minister all game, and then he was made fun of by the Algerian guy? Well, karma came back, because Nigeria actually went on to knock them out in the quarterfinals by beating them 2-0, and when the second goal was scored, Akor Adams decided to do this celebration, obviously paying homage to the fan, but also at the same time kind of making fun of the Algeria guy who made fun of the fan. So it's just another one of those perfect karma moments. Now, I'm not gonna lie, there wasn't too much else that happened in the tournament until the final. There was a pretty interesting semi-final matchup between Senegal and Egypt. Obviously the Mohamed Salah and Sadio Mane rivalry. Obviously Sané came out topping that. I think the kind of branding of Afcon does kind of take away from it. Like, it just being presented as a meme really does kind of paint the whole tournament as a joke when that's not the case. But at the same time, there is a lot of ridiculous moments that happen in Afcon that you just don't see in like a Euros or like a World Cup. Like you do kind of get some crazy moments in like the Copa America, but nothing really on this level. Like people getting out of stretchers, people walking off the pitch, and I don't know what that's down to be honest. Like maybe it's just like because obviously you have a wide range of teams in Africa, and the ones at the top are obviously going to have a lot of funding, and then the ones at the bottom just aren't, so you're going to get some crazy moments. Like, but yeah, overall I enjoyed it. I thought it was entertaining, and there was a lot of really good goals scored. And if you like this video, you're going to like this one even more. And yeah, if you enjoyed, like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.